Hey Braden, so I just want to give you a little bit of help on that worksheet that you asked me about. So I just wrote down a couple of problems. I just thought I would let you know. Mr. Martorella said you only had to do numbers 1 through 12, and so I wrote down one problem from each section that is 1 through 12, and I'll go over them and how to do them with you, okay? So the first thing you need to know is the formula for geometric sequences or series. That formula is a sub n equals a1 times r to the n minus 1, okay? First thing, a sub n is whatever term. If you're talking the fifth term, second term, third term, 17th term, whatever. A sub 1 means the first term, so this is the first number that you see. And then r is the rate or the ratio or the dividing number or the multiplying number, okay? So kind of keep that in mind. This is a times or divided by number, okay? The first question wants you to write down the first 5 terms. So if you start with the number 4, so if 4 is the first number, right, what would come after it? And so they want the first 5 terms. So 1, 2, 3, 4, I've got 5 spaces, okay? And so all you do, what makes it geometric, and this is why I said it's the multiplying or dividing by number, but what makes it geometric is that you're going to times by the rate each time. So we're going to do 4 times 3. Okay, so the next number is going to be 12, and then times 3 again is 36. Times 3, I'm going to need to get a calculator because I have no idea. You're probably already telling me what it is. I wish I could hear you. 108, and then times 3 again. Okay, so 324. So that's what makes it, like I said, geometric, is when you're like multiplying every single time to get to the next number, okay? This one, there's 2 ways that you can go about doing it. Personally, I think the formula is the easiest thing to use, and I'll show you that first. Okay, so the formula I just want to write down again is a sub n equals a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1, okay? This is number 5, so there's 1 through 4 look like this. We're going to have to write them down and then times, okay? Number 5 is the one where, you know, here's the pattern, what's the 5th number, okay? So if we use our formula, we can just plug right into the formula and figure it out. So a sub 1 is the first term, and they tell us what it is. They tell us that it's a 2, so I'm going to put a 2 right there, times, and then I'm going to do r, which they tell us again is 2, so I'm going to do 2, and then since I'm trying to find a of 5, right, a sub 5, I'm going to do 5 minus 1. By the way, this takes me longer to explain it than it does to actually do it. It's okay, okay? So 5 minus 1 you know is 4, so we're going to do 2 times 2 to the 4th power. Order of operations, you have to do those exponents first. And so we're going to do 2 to the 4th power, which I just double checked in my calculator, is a 16. So 2 times 16 is 32. Okay? This pattern, or this formula, I mean, is a lot easier when they want you to find like the 17th term. Okay, when the numbers are really small, the other way you could go about doing it is you can be like, okay, well, the first term is times 2, or is 2, and the ratio is 2, so I'm going to multiply by 2. So I'm going to get my next number is 4, and then times 2 again is 8, and then times 2 is 16. The problem is that sometimes you lose count, and it's really easy to lose count if you don't do the formula. So it's a lot easier, like I said, if you just plug it into the formula. Okay, so one more time, a of 5, right? I'm just plugging it in. A of 5 is going to be my first number times my ratio to the 5 minus 1, or to the 4th. And then just make sure that you do exponents first. So 2 to the 4th and then times 2, okay? Letter, or number 9, 9, 10, 11, and 12 are all the same thing as well. And for these, you have to actually write the formula. And so again, we're going to write this same formula. We're just going to use this and get the numbers in. But we have to figure it out, okay? So we have to figure out what the first number is. Well, the first number is pretty easy. It's pretty obvious up here. The first number written down is a 2, right? And then we need to figure out what R is. And so how do you go from 2 to 3? Or 2 to 6, I just told you. How do you go from 6 to 18? 18 to 54, right? You're multiplying by 3, and so R is 3. So you just put 3 to the n minus 1. That's it. I promise. That's it. That's all you have to do. Okay? It does get a little bit hairier when there are fractions involved. Let me pause really quick, and I'll show you what I mean. All right, Brayden, so I just wanted to show you really quickly what would happen, like, if you can't figure it out, right? And if it's not super easy, like 2 times 3 times 3 times 3, okay? And so let's take a look at these two problems down here. Okay, so this one, for example, if you had to write the equation, right, you would put 28 times and then R to the n minus 1, but you got to figure out what R is. And so the easiest thing to do is just pick up your calculator. And so if you want to do 28 times what is 196, you would do 196 divided by 28. Okay? Oh, you can't see that. So you would do 196 divided by 28, and it gives you a 7. So it must be 28 times 7. Okay? And then you can check 196 times 7. Yep, 1372. There it is. Okay? So you know this is 28 times 7 to the n minus 1. If there are fractions involved, sometimes it's a little bit harder, but you are really good at fractions. And so just kind of keep in mind, you're trying to do -3 times what, and I'm going to put a fraction bar, okay, is going to give me -9 over 2. Well, if this is -3 over 1, I know my numerator has to be a 3, my denominator has to be a 2. So my ratio must be, or my R must be 3 over 2. And then just check, does that work for the next one? So if I take 9 over 2 and multiply by 3 over 2, yeah, I should get a 27 over 4. Totally had a 27 over 4 the whole time. Promise. Okay, so see if that helps you figure them out. If you have any other questions, let me know. I'll be more than happy to send you another video. Okay?